So I think you can just quickly click on that. This takes you to the Renterd API documentation. All right, you can decide to use dark mode, so to keep everything all good. And I might just need to shift this to the fetch API of JavaScript, because we're working with JavaScript here. So let's just use JavaScript, for all our, interaction. You can also use Node.js Axios, and I believe that is what our application is, is utilizing. The Sia, Renterd API is basically divided into three components. Okay, three essential components. Of course, for this particular tutorial, we're only going to be focusing on one because that's the most important one for this tutorial. But the boss, the boss component is more like the central nervous system, and it gives you, an interface toward data persistency and the peer-to-peer, structure of the network. So it gives you, information about how you can communicate with the people or the computers, the node that forms the network, and some vital information you can interact with in this particular bus, component include the accounts. You're able to get accounts, you're able to get account IDs, you're able to interact with, alerts. So alerts are some warnings or any form of information that pops up about your Renterd service. You may not understand everything about this Renterd right now, but the Renterd we're talking about is like a software, is the blockchain, is a copy of the blockchain that is running. So this blockchain does emit information, and that information is called an alert. And this boss component helps you to interact with it. For example, if you come to this alert, you'll be able to interact with it using all these API keys that you can see, these API instructions here, and you can dismiss it, you can register, and so many kinds of operations that are all available using this API. And depending on the language you're using, you can use so many languages as much as it is provided here. Okay, so that is for boss. There's so many things else, even contract information. Contracts, you may not understand it right now, but contract is the basics of agreement between the host of your data and you being the renter. So what you people, agree to, that is the contract that is being spoken about here. So that is just an overview of what you should know about the boss component. We also have this Autopilot. What it does is to help you to maintain some tasks, put some tasks in automation. So, for example, if you want to renew your subscription, or if, and you can put that on Autopilot. You understand that? So there's so many things about this Autopilot, which is, so it contains things like trigger, the host, it's a lot, that you can even get your configuration with it. So Autopilot, in a nutshell, helps you to put some tasks of the Renterd ecosystem in automatic mode. You don't have to be involved in it, okay? But of course, this is totally optional, all right? You can decide not to utilize the Autopilot feature, and there's a place you can toggle it off in your contract structure as well in the Renterd service. When we come into the area of configuring it, I'm going to show you all about it. Okay, so there's a provision for you to turn it off as well. So it's optional. You can decide to go manual about it. So where we spend most of our time is in this thing called worker. Now the worker component of the Renterd API documentation it deals with things concerning the upload and the download of data. So the management of data. Okay, so this is where we want to focus our understanding, our mind, our time in. So, for example, this is the endpoint that enables us to put data, into our Renterd application. So you use this to write. This code is responsible for. Okay, it's better now. So if I enlarge this, okay. So this code will be responsible for pushing or uploading some certain things into the network, such as this data, but in a textual format. So, and also there is also another one for downloading data, which should be this. Okay, so you can see, so this is this downloads the object at a given path or a query. So it's more like the way, I don't know if you've seen the AWS, if you've made use of the AWS data infrastructure for storage, where things are put in a key value pair. Okay, so that is how these where data is stored in a key value pair. That is how data in the Renterd space is stored as well in a key value pair. You're going to see all these things in practical, but I just want to show you what this documentation is all about and what we concern us a lot about, in this particular documentation. Okay, so that is it for just this one. Now, without saying too much, okay, it is time for us to literally set up this application. We want to set it up so that we can see how it works on our computer.